Hey shapeshifters, welcome back to another episode of the Cosmic Valkyrie Podcast. I'm Lynn Louise, and today we're going to dive into something that makes or breaks success when it comes to creating your dream life. I just want to do a little housekeeping. First, you probably notice I have really bad allergies today, so bear with me. The other thing is I have chaos going on in my home. So you might hear my Chewini running around with his nails on the floor. The windows are open. There's traffic going by. But this is the first time in about a month that it has been cool enough for us to open our windows. And I refuse to close them. So bear with me in today's episode. Now, today we're going to iron out a crystal clear vision of what you want, because I have found that this is one of the hardest things for women to accomplish when they start working with me. So I want to get you a head start on today's podcast. Now, the truth is, if you don't have a crystal clear vision for your life, every strategy, every diet plan, every business hack you implement will feel like you're pushing a boulder uphill. So today we're going to dive into the visionary work needed to manifest, as well as the importance of detaching from an outcome while still going all in on what it is that you want. I know this sounds like a mouthful, so basically we're going to break down why your vision isn't optional. It's truly your energetic GPS. And we're going to discuss how to back map your way to success so you stop spinning in confusion and overwhelm, as well as covering the missing ingredients that make all your rituals and strategies actually work. And we're going to toss in there the secret to staying in flow without clutching or white knuckling the outcome so hard that you choke the life out of your desires. Plus, I'm going to share a couple of client success stories because it will prove what happens when you stop resisting and start designing your dream life. Okay, so let's get into it. Manifesting begins and ends with a clear vision of what you want. Your vision is your energetic architecture, and without it, you're building on quicksand. You're sending wishy-washy energy out into the universe, and the universe is sending you wishy-washy back. And here's the deal. Most women think that they have a vision when really they only have a vague hope. They're not sure what they want, and therefore they get stuck in a place they don't want to be. I want this to really land before we go deeper. Your brain filters your personal reality based on clarity of what your focus is on. Meaning, if you have no focus, you have no activation to move forward because your brain can only react on that in which it is focused on. And this is going to iron out for you throughout this podcast. So we're going to go deeper, and I'm really going to help close that gap so you understand it more. Let's start with a question, because that's always a really good way to reflect on where you've been so that we can move forward. Have you ever started something, maybe a fitness goal, a business idea, or maybe working on a relationship, and felt like you are doing all the things, but nothing is working? Lack of forward momentum is exactly what happens when you have action without direction. It makes it really easy to drift when you don't have crystal clear clarity on what it is that you want. You start the day with big intentions, but end up reacting to everyone else's agenda because you're sending out a scrambled signal to your brain and the universe, and they are responding in kind. The truth is, clarity is the ultimate power move. It's not just a mindset hack. It is a pillar for manifesting. Now, to help you understand this with a little more depth, let's talk about the quantum energetics first, because this is where most people get it wrong. I want us to go back to your brain and focus. Your brain has something called the reticular activating system, RAS for short. Think of RAS like a filter. It decides what's relevant based on what you tell it matters. Now, here's a really good example. Have you ever bought a brand of car that you had never owned before? Something brand new to you. And then the day that you pull it off the lot, you start seeing those cars everywhere? That's RAS at work. You now have a stronger awareness and focus on your new car, and so your brain is able to identify them in the wild. Think of RAS as like your internal algorithm, sorting what is relevant. So when it comes to manifesting, think of it this way. When you're unclear about what you want, your algorithm doesn't know how to or what to prioritize. It just keeps filtering from the same old patterns that feel safe, even if it's not what you want. It's unable to notice opportunities because you haven't prioritized a vision for it to focus on. This should be a mic drop for you. And here's the thing, when you create a crystal clear vision, you're basically reprogramming your RAS to look for pathways to opportunity and resources that align with that specific vision. You start living in intention, and that's when manifesting flows. But that's not the only thing that needs a shift. So does your personal frequency. And this is where it gets really fun. So you already know that everything is energy, and everything has a frequency, including your thoughts. And those thoughts interact directly with the quantum field, which is the field of infinite possibilities. Think of the quantum field as an energetic soup that holds those infinite possibilities. Every version of your future that is possible exists in the quantum. Now, the quantum responds to coherence, not confusion, scattered thoughts, or half-hearted intentions. It wants coherence. What I mean by coherence is when your thoughts, emotions, and actions are all aligned in the same frequency. When your vision is clearly aligned with what you think, feel, and the steps you need to take match it. This is what it takes to create a strong signal into that quantum. So when you say you want abundance, yet feel unworthy and act from fear, that's incoherence. Your signal is fractured, and the quantum field has nothing clear to respond to. The clearer and the more emotionally anchored your vision, the more coherent your energy becomes, and the faster those possibilities collapse into your reality. An example of a weak signal is saying something like, I just want freedom. I hear this a lot from clients. Now, the field doesn't know how to organize that because it lacks precision. But when your vision is crystal clear and you can see the details, feel it in your body, and emotionally connect with it, you're creating a strong, consistent signal that acts like a tuning fork. The more precise the image, the stronger the resonance. And that is what magnetizes opportunities, people, even circumstance that align with your intention. And girl, this is not wishful thinking. This is physics. But here's the problem I see so many women running into when it comes to manifesting more in your life. You say things like, I just want more freedom, more money, more time, more love. Sticking to the more story is like telling your GPS that you just want to go somewhere nice. Your brain and the quantum field can't work with that. So you end up second guessing, hustling, wondering why nothing feels aligned and things aren't falling into place. It's because you're trying to build without a blueprint. Now, let's be clear. Clarity is not a one-time journaling session. It's a practice, one that shifts and evolves. But it begins with defining your North Star. Now, I completely understand that this is hard because dreaming has been drilled out of us by a society that wants to keep us small. But it is imperative that you begin. And that's going to require you to harness a new depth of passion to help you get moving again. And this starts with a one simple question. If nothing was off limits, what would your life look like and feel like in the next 12 months? Don't just think about this. Feel this through engaging your senses. Where are you? What do you smell around you? What does the air feel like on your skin? What are you wearing? How do you move through the world? What do you wake up like every morning? And anchor into the emotions, because those feelings and emotions are the frequency. And if your vision feels flat, your signal is too. So sharpen it, enhance it through clarity. When your vision is clear, you create a frequency blueprint, and a blueprint does three things. It programs your brain to prioritize what matters. It aligns your energy with the quantum field, and it anchors you in a reality where success is not forced, but it flows with ease. But there is a kicker. Vision without trust collapses. So, if you don't believe you can achieve it, your subconscious will sabotage you every time. So let's unpack that to help you accelerate this magic. Now, not while you're driving. If you're driving, do this when you get home. Not right now. So what I want you to do is I want you to take a deep breath in, and I want you to exhale and close your eyes. And I want you to hold that vision that you've created. I want you to lean into it. Let your mind's eye picture yourself as if you already have what you want. Not just how you look, but how you feel, how you move, how you feel in your clothes, what you can smell, what you can taste. What kind of food are you eating? Taste it. Involve all of your senses. And once you're there, that's the frequency. It's where your vision is planted. And now it's time to nourish it. Now, how do we nourish it? We nourish it by back mapping into milestones. First, take that 12-month vision, then break it down into quarters, and then into months, and then into weeks, and then into days. This means you're going to have to take that mountain that seems insurmountable and create small day hikes. Because if you don't, you risk never taking the first step. So you're going to have to identify core milestones and break them down into habits and practices. You have to have a plan, because if you can't map it, you cannot manifest it. So you need to take the time and dig into the process. If you are truly committed to your future, you will make this a priority. Okay. So the biggest reason your vision does not become reality is most likely from a lack of self-trust. I see this all the time with clients. It is the number one reason women that come into my program have been failing year after year. Now, it's not because you're not capable, and it's not because you're not working hard enough, but it's because deep down, you don't trust yourself to follow through. And when you don't trust yourself, every plan you create feels heavy. You'll procrastinate. You'll start and stop. You'll sabotage the things you say you want because part of you doesn't believe that you can handle what comes after you succeed. So your subconscious defaults to safe patterns, not successful patterns. It defaults to familiar patterns that have gotten you to where you are today. So even if your comfort zone is chaos, your subconscious will keep you there because it feels predictable. That's why you can have a vision, a plan, and willpower and still fall back into those old loops. The loops of breaking the promises you make to yourself. We've all done it. We've told ourselves we're going to do something, and then we don't. And then we label ourselves as lazy or undisciplined. Girl, I've been there. But here's the true story. It's not that you're lazy. It's that you've never built an identity that matches your vision. Because trust is not something that we're born with. It's something that we practice. It's built through evidence and micro decisions and proving to your subconscious that you can be relied upon. Now remember, your subconscious is always listening. So the more you affirm the evidence of self-trust, the faster you lock into the identity of someone who finishes what they start. And I want to share a couple client stories with you, because I think they're really impactful and they can help you understand what becomes possible when you really start locking in these identities. I had a client that had struggled with weight loss for decades. She was always dieting, she joined gyms, she hired trainers, and never had success. When she started working with me in E10X, she was at the end of her rope and risking giving up on herself. I remember the day that I met her, she told me, "Lynn Louise, I don't think that I'm even capable of losing weight anymore." And it broke my heart. But I assured her that she could and that I had her back. I want to tell you that in our first week together, she didn't put together another plan because all she needed was a vision and an identity reset. She realized that she had been handing over her power to things outside of herself and that it was time to reclaim it. So she got to work, developed a clear vision, back mapped it, and she knew on a core level that she could achieve her dream body. And I'm going to tell you, within the first 30 days, she was down her first 12 pounds. And within the following year, she was down the complete 80 that she had been struggling with for decades. Now, if you can't relate to that weight loss story, I want to share one more story with you. I had a client that wrote a book. She poured her heart and soul into that thing. She invested time, money, and energy. And when it was finished, she promoted it for a few months, but then after that, nothing. Hundreds of copies were collecting dust on her office floor for years. She got into Evolution 10X, where we weren't talking about marketing techniques or complicated funnel systems. We were talking about identity. And within the first 3 weeks, she started reprogramming her beliefs about what she was capable of creating. She began to see herself differently, not as someone trying to be an author, but a woman whose voice carried value. One day in a session with me, she mentioned the book almost in passing. And I asked her, "Why don't you ever talk about your book?" And she said, "Because it doesn't seem relevant anymore. I've grown so much since writing it." And right there, the pattern revealed itself. She was tying her value to her latest evolution. If she couldn't see the value in her past work, then no one else would either. That was the identity running the show. And because she didn't believe the book mattered, her actions reflected that belief. Not sharing it, not selling it, not being visible. This is why I always say, you can't create what you don't believe you're worthy of. Your identity sets the tone for every external action, or in this case, inaction. So anyway, we worked together on rewiring her stories and she began to operate from a new identity. She didn't work any harder. She didn't spend weeks creating a marketing plan. She simply shifted her frequency and took aligned action from that new identity. And guess what? In 1 week, she went from those books were obsolete to closing $11K in sales. Girl, she was even on a 2-week holiday unplugged in Spain. So no pushing, no grind, just coherence, meaning vision, belief, and aligned action. That's the power of trust and identity work. When you believe your voice matters, your actions will reflect it. And when your energy and actions match your vision, the quantum field responds. So what is it going to take here? Your results don't change because you find the perfect strategy. They change because you become the woman that can hold the results. And it starts with a clear vision and the identity to match. You have to trust yourself to follow through and align actions that flow from that trust. When these pieces click together, your reality bends. It's not about forcing, but by creating a personal frequency that is coherent. And it's not about clinging to the outcome. Don't grip your desire so tightly that your vision can't breathe. Because clinging comes from fear. It's communicating lack of trust and activating scarcity and signaling to the universe that you don't trust your own timeline. This is the paradox you need to master. You need to hold the vision and release the grip. This means stay deeply connected to that in which you desire, but don't go to the desperate energy that says, if this doesn't work, I'm failing. Leave that energy behind. That energy collapses your frequency because it's rooted in fear. Instead, you need to shift the belief into this or something better is already mine. Clinging is anxious, rigid, and full of scarcity. The other is spacious, trusting, and magnetic. You can feel the difference. This is how you maintain your frequency, not through force, but through surrender. When you release the timeline and trust that your actions are aligned and your energy is coherent, you open the field of infinite possibilities. And that's when the magic happens. Surrender is not passive. It is not sitting back and hoping and praying that something changes. It is an active declaration of faith. So here's what you want to remember as we wrap up today's podcast. Your dream life doesn't just happen because you want it. It happens because you choose to create it. And that starts on the inside. When your vision is crystal clear, your identity aligns with that vision and your actions flow from trust. And that's when your reality bends, not through pushing, not through forcing, but through coherence. And you don't have to do this alone because this kind of alignment, the frequency work, the identity reprogramming, the practical back mapping is a practice. And if you're ready to take this conversation beyond theory and start integrating them into your life, you've got the perfect next step right here for you. Join the Shapeshifter Signal. It's my private mailing list and portal where I go deeper for deeper transformation. Every week, I drop 3 emails that contain high-frequency tools, practices, insight that go beyond the podcast. Stuff that I don't share anywhere other than my mailing list. Think of it as your energetic activation delivered straight to your inbox because next level evolution doesn't happen in isolation. It happens when you stay plugged in to this kind of energy, this kind of truth, and this kind of community. So if you're done dabbling and ready to start designing your reality from the inside out, go grab your spot now. The link is in the show notes. I love you. Stay bold, stay open, and never, ever trade truth for comfort. Until next time. Thanks for listening to this entire podcast. If you love helping others, then please share this via your social media with friends and family. If you found value in it, they will too. Also, if you have questions, I'm here for you. You can email me questions to thecosmicvalkyrie@gmail.com. I might even use one of your questions on future podcast episodes. Also, I do have a personal request. I believe that we are all here to help each other heal, grow, and evolve. So let's help more people. If you would please, leave a nice review on iTunes. It will help the algorithms, and I would be forever grateful. And through your assistance, we could transform more lives.